Hey everybody, this is a follow-up to my last video on moon compilations. There's a lot of things that probably you need to go over on the moon, and I've added some clips in tonight that may help to see visually what it is I'm talking about in the moon. I believe the moon is self-illuminating. It is not reflecting the sun's light. I don't have any of the sun and moon in the sky at the same time videos in this one. I will in future ones. I do have some of those videos. And I was watching a video the other day about flat earth photography, and he was going over some of the limitations and the things that a Nikon P900 can do, and he was very right about a lot of things in that video, and I was reading in the comments and people were slamming him for being a shill and all those sorts of things, and that he wasn't being honest. And in all reality, he was. I've been out to the water with my P900, and I've filmed, and I'll put some of those videos up. But he's got a good point in his video that the truth community needs to put out truth videos, and so if they're telling you things that aren't really true, especially when it comes to imagery and things like that, then they do need to be called out, because when you go down to the water with a P900 and you shoot objects that are out there, you can see them with your eyes, and you can't see them in the camera when the camera is zoomed all the way out. That's how you know where to aim it to zoom in on the objects that are there. So you don't get a real good perception with the camera when you zoom all the way back out. After you've been zoomed in on an object, it looks like it disappears, when in all reality you can see it the whole time with your eyes. Light only travels so far, and light breaks down in all of the elements, the humidity, the water vapor, all of that kind of stuff. So a lot of what he was saying was true. So if you don't believe that, buy your own, go out and shoot some videos, and see for yourself. And let's get into these moon compilations, because the moon is a very interesting thing, and it's out during the day and it's out at night, and we can see parts of it at times, parts of it we can't. The dark parts of the moon during the day or at night is not the Earth's shadow. To put this in perspective, if you take the size of the sun, the size of the Earth, the size of the moon, the distances, get ratios. If you divide the Earth's diameter by the sun's diameter, it'll tell you what percentage the Earth is in relation to the size of the sun, and with the moon you can do the same thing. And you divide the distances by the diameter, and it'll tell you how many of those go in between it. So to put all that in perspective, if we start with a 24-inch beach ball and make that the sun, the Earth comes out to be like 2.16-inch diameter, which is smaller than a tennis ball. And then the moon comes out to be about the size of a 9/16 diameter ball bearing. Now, in relationship to the scale, and all these numbers I've used are from NASA themselves, and the beach ball, which represents the sun, would go some 2,183 feet, which is 0.41 miles away from the Earth, which is now the size a little bit smaller than a tennis ball. The moon, which is the size of a 9/16 diameter ball bearing, would go 5'4" 3/4 from the Earth. So going by that scale, that's a scale that we can picture in our heads, and I'll build this model and I'll put a video out on that as well so that you can see the size of the distances and things like that. There's no way the sun could ever illuminate the face of the moon. And I don't think what you're seeing is a shadow, and we're going to go over some of the video, and I've taken some stills from those videos and I've put them in there as well, so you're going to see things that look fairly strange in the moon. So these first images are time lapses of the moon taken on the same day. The first set is at full speed, the second set is at about 0.55 speed, and since I'm shooting at 60 frames per second for these, I can only slow them down that much. But if you go back and you look and you pause them, and you can see that the moon itself is rotating. These were taken a few hours apart, one obviously before dawn, one after dawn, and they were taken from the same place. That was back on July the 15th. So, you know, take a look at those, pause them, look at them, look at the features of the moon, see how it rotates. This video is from July the 18th, and I put some stills in this segment of these pieces of the moon that look very interesting when shot at night. When you look at the distance, the sun is away from us. There's no way that the Earth could be casting a shadow on this at the time that was taken. So it's interesting how they curl around, and you can see little points hanging out there. They seem to be just hanging out there. And I've got some other pictures I'll share in some other videos where I've just taken pictures and overexposed them. The moon does rotate. Everyone was taught the moon doesn't rotate. It does rotate. It rotates clockwise in the sky. And all of what you're seeing is all shot on the same day. Some was pre-dawn, some was post-dawn, except the time lapses. The time lapses were shot on 7/15. These were shot on 7/18 of this year. So. But you can go out and just look at the moon, and you can tell that it's rotating, and that line rotates with the moon. So it's very interesting to look at the moon and to document it. I'm going to continue to document it for quite some time. Here's another still of that image during the daytime. And then another interesting point is, if we can see the so-called other planets in our solar system and they light up, they're brighter in the sky than the stars are, it would make sense that the Earth also is glowing like that, and you would think that some of that light would reflect back to the moon and light up the part of the moon that you can't see. So there's definitely some questions, definitely some things we can look at. And no one may ever know any answers to any of these questions. I don't believe that any of this is what we were taught is what it is. It's definitely a very strange thing to look at the moon and document it, film it, take pictures of it during the day, at night. You see all kinds of different things in it. Little spots of light that glow, that illuminate, that seem to illuminate the moon. Just all sorts of stuff. So I'll have some more moon compilation videos in the future. But I hope you enjoyed this one. There's some pretty cool images on here, I think, and I will have more to come.